What are you going to tell your mama? What are you going to tell your pop? What are you going to tell your friends? And they say, I mean, that's a great lyric. And it's a bridge. It's not even the real thing.
I think Dolly Parton is all that should save East Tennessee from the flood.
So tell him back climbing.
It takes
I
the
got a
fear
week
of a
back.
broken leg.
And you're supposed to say how long you've had it. About a week back. Gotcha. No, that's not gotcha at all.
There's a line in the comprehensive Louis show of Louis C.K. where he goes to a doctor who goes about his past. The doctor says, you're given a clothesline and you're trying to use it as a flagpole. Of course it hurts. Yes. But that's a good
Yeah, 13.
Oh, good. Thank you. All right. Well, we're gonna get started. I think and we might be online. So. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya 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 la la ya la la ya la ya la la ya la la Doesn't it feel good to sing together? It feels good after so long to sing together, to be gathered together for a Kabbalat Shabbat service. And tonight it's with a lot of excitement that we welcome Rabbi Sarah Shulman, who is our candidate for the assistant rabbi position. And it's a time of looking ahead to the future with hope and with excitement. And we so badly need excitement at this point in the world, in our lives, right? I mean, something to look forward to, some way of looking to the future with hopefulness is itself such a salutary thing, such a life-giving, a mechaya, we would say in Yiddish, right? It gives us life to think about the future with hope and with anticipation. And that's something that we've largely been inhibited in the last couple of years, right? The ability to plan for the future and be excited about plans and making plans for the future. And Shabbat is a practice that we do as Jews that helps us to keep that muscle alive. Shabbat, the tradition teaches, is a taste of the future, a time that as the world should be, as the world we want it to be. And we live in the world as it is 6 days a week, and 1 day a week, we get a taste, a little bit of a hint of what the world could look like if the world was all Shabbat. And in that way, it keeps us hungry, like an appetizer. It keeps our appetite going for that hopefulness for the future. And so it's with that spirit that we welcome this Shabbat, and I'm grateful to the folks sitting up front here, many of our Shir Chadash daveners who've stepped in to help us make this service tonight, which we haven't had a musical service since Cantor Reisner left, and so it's great to be back together and singing. So we're going to start our service together, and we'll be hearing a lot more from Rabbi Shulman in just a couple minutes. But let's start out with a little bit of song, and to kind of warm up those singing muscles. This is a melody that those of you that watched or participated in a Zamra heard us sing, and it has a note that even if you don't want to sing the verse, you can just hold this note. And it's, I guess I have to pick the note. So it's going to be Lechu. Try that. Lechu. And you can keep it going. Lechu. Nera, nena. That's how it's going to go. Okay, so let's try it together on page 11. Lechu. Nera, nena, ladonai. Lechu naria letzor ishenu. Lechu nera nena ladonai. Lechu naria letzor ishenu. Nekadma fana betoda. Bizmirot naria. Kadma fana betoda bizmirot naria lo leku nera nena ladonai leku ya letzur ishenu leku nera nena ladonai fana betoda bizmirot naria lo nekadma fana betoda bizmirot naria lo lechu nera nena ladonai lechu naria letzor ishenu. That sounded awesome. Thank you. Page 13, let's continue. Shiru ladonai, shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai baruchu shemo, basru miyom leyom yeshivato, sakru vagoyim kevodo, vechol ha'amim nifrotav. turn to page 20. The words at the arrow, the end of the psalm. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu. Let us sing, let us give praise, and let's continue to join our voices together. I might need your help to start this one now.
Romemu,
Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu.
Ve'ishtachvu lehar kodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Ve'ishtachvu lehar kodsho,
Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. I think if we could see each other's faces, we'd be cracking each other up right now. Yeah.
Well, you can't see the smile. You know?
Right. When we were preparing this service, Rabbi Shulman and I said to each other, you know, we sing like, we're rabbis, we sing like rabbis. That's why we need musical, leadership, but we're,
That's why they hired Eitan
That's
before
right.
the
That's
rabbinic
right.
candidate.
but let's continue with this beautiful melody. This is also a melody that we learned with Cantor Reisner, a melody written by Joey Weisenberg. And I'm going to try to get this one right too. Page 22, the words Ana Bekoach. Ana Bekoach Gedulat Yemincha Tatzir Serura Tatzir Serura Kabel Rinat Rinat Amcha Savenu Tarenu Yora Ana Bekoach Gedulat Yemincha Tatzir Serura Tatzir Serura Kabel Rinat Rinat Amcha Savenu Tarenu Yora Tatir Tzerura, Tatir Tzerura, Kabel Rinat, Rinat Amasa, Reinu Tareinu, Nora.
In a moment, we will sing the words of L'cha Dodi, a 16th century Kabbalistic poem that portrays Shabbat in holy relationship with us. I appreciate that Shabbat brings us together, whether you're joining us virtually or here in person, in a kind of connection that we appreciate now in renewed ways. I distinctly remember last summer, the first Shabbat of my Camp Ramah, Northern California, when we came together for the first Shabbat in 2 years of having been apart. And when we sang these words of L'chadodi, and we got to the end, the campers and staff erupted out of their seats and danced hand in hand. And it was that moment that I realized just how important, how powerful both Shabbat and reconnection can be. In my life, Shabbat is a precious time of reconnection with family and community, of taking a break, a pause from the business or the busyness of our lives and taking some time to reflect. And in our family, we have a tradition that is also very campy of sharing a rose, a thorn, and a bud at our Shabbat table. I think Rabbi Grunwald might do something similar. And what that is sharing a moment of joy, a challenge, and something that you are yearning for or looking forward to. So as we prepare for L'chadodi, I invite you all to turn to someone next to you and share one rose. Share what is one joy that you found this week. Go ahead and introduce yourself if you're sitting next to someone you don't know, and share a joy from this week.
Rick, how you feeling?
Good, I gotta keep the mic on.
I made the dog laugh at dinner a lot last night, like a whole lot. Yeah. That's nice. Is anyone here from Canton Rise
עטרת בעלה, גם לשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, הולך הדודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. You can have a seat. We're going to continue on page 27. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. צדיק התמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתהילים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ינובו בסובה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עלתה בו. Your voices are all lovely. It feels so good to sing together. And of course, we take a moment in each service to also remember loved ones who are no longer with us. And if you are saying Kaddish, or if it is your custom, we invite you to rise now as we turn to page 30 for Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam ome'amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You can have a seat and do you want to use this? Are you going to be using it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Great.
So it's really a pleasure to welcome Rabbi Sarah Shulman as our first candidate for the position of assistant rabbi. It's been 13 years since we searched for an assistant rabbi. And 14 years, yeah, it's been 14. I'm in my 14th year, that's right. And I remember what it was like to interview here. Actually, I hardly remember it. It's been quite a long time. But I must have led a service that Friday night and given a sermon as Rabbi Shulman will tomorrow. And it's my pleasure particularly to welcome Rabbi Shulman because we've known each other for quite a long time. In fact, I was at her wedding to Nate Bankier, who grew up in our congregation here at HEA. Some of you probably read that in Rabbi Shulman's bio. And they've spent time here in Denver together as well. And Rabbi Shulman got her start in the camping world here at Camp Ramah in the Rockies as the director of education and also the assistant director, and really did everything in those early years of the camp along with Rabbi Eliav Bach. And went on after graduating from the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies to found Camp Ramah Galim, Camp Ramah in Northern California, in some ways with some similarities to Camp Ramah in the Rockies, a very active camp that's right on Monterey Bay, where the focus is on marine biology and sports and outdoor activities. And now, 8 years into the rabbinate, Rabbi Shulman is looking for a transition, and we hope that she and her family will make her home here with us. And if that's how we decide, and if we offer you the position, of course. I'm getting ahead of myself. But should we make this shit up? Then we look forward to hearing from you. So with that, I'm going to stop talking because I've probably said too much already. And welcome you to give a Dvar Torah.
Thank you, Rabbi Grunwald, and thank you everyone for such a warm welcome. In some ways it feels like coming home, and to see some familiar faces and meet so many warm faces. I had the opportunity to meet the staff, and just from the moment I walked into the preschool and up the stairs, it just, it really felt such like an incredible community where people care so much about each other and care so much about Jewish life. This week's Torah portion, we read Parshat Trumah from the book of Exodus, and it introduces these strange characters, the cherubim, which were these mythic winged characters, sort of animal-like, that would sit outside at the two opposite ends of the ark, facing one another. And in between them was the holy space of the Mishkan, or the tabernacle, a place of God's presence in the wilderness, teaching us that we find holy presence in between us. That holy presence dwells in that spot where we face one another. The 11th century commentator Rashi interprets the cherubim as keruvia, as the faces of children. I love this because it invites us to enter in our relationships and into our world with the curiosity of children, and it puts children as the gatekeepers of our holy community. In the Talmud in Baba Batra, it teaches that when the people of Israel fulfilled God's will, the cherubim would face one another. But when they went astray and they lost God in their lives, the cherubim would face apart towards the walls of the room. When we face each other, when we see one another, when we bring curiosity and openness to our relationships, to our conversations and dealings with one another, we bring holiness into our community. Consider a relationship in your life that keeps you up at night. And how do you want to face this person next time you see them? Do you want to face in? Do you want to come with curiosity or groundedness, with a sense of flexibility or acceptance? How is it that you want to create holy space between? For each interaction in our lives is an opportunity to find holiness. I hope that as we go through this Shabbat experience together, we can marinate not only on the relationships, as we saw l'chadodi, between the people of Israel and Shabbat, or ourselves and God, but also those holy relationships that we have an opportunity to think thoughtfully about and that will allow us to bring further holiness into our communities. Shabbat Shalom. We now turn to page 39. I invite you, if you are able to join us in the Baruch Hu.
Quietly on page 39. Umavir yom umevi laila umavdil ben yom uvein laila Adonai tzvaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Amari Varavi. Continue on page 40. V'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael
Shema
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Continue on your own. Adonai Elchechem Emet. We turn to page 42. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe Miriam uvenei Yisrael Lecha anu shira b'simcha rabba ve'amru chulam mi chamocha ba'ei Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osefele shira kipara uvanecha boker yom ifnei Moshe zeli v'le'amru Adonai imach le'olam va'ed Yanai 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 Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O sovereign God. Spread over us your canopy of peace. We all seek shlemut, wholeness, and inner and outer peace in our own ways. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to go on a backpacking trip with my husband Nate and our daughters Liel and Maytal. We were in the Point Reyes National Coast and Wilderness area, and we were hiking down a very steep bluff, which some might interpret as rather cliff-like. But being someone that's always up for an adventure, we were going for it from the bluff down to the beach, and it was getting a little steep. And I was coming down, I had Maytal that I was holding on to, and I looked back up, and my daughter Liel was up above me, sort of a little scared. So what did I do as a mother? I reached out my hand to offer it to her. Did she take it? No. She said, "Ima, I got this." And then she did the most extraordinary thing. And meanwhile, I'm just kind of sitting here shaking. She goes like this. She did the breathing tool that she learned in her class in kindergarten at Jewish day school. And then one step at a time, she walked down to flat ground. As we continue our efforts to secure our buildings and promote outer peace and security in our world, we all, like Liel, must too find those essential tools of breathing, of prayer, of connection that help us also to find inner peace. Join us on page 45 for the words of Hashkivenu. We'll go 3 lines from the top. We'll join in Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot
ושמור צאתנו בואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית העולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שמיים נפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה עמד יברח תרצה והמליך מלכותי בחייך וביומך ובחייך לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לא מהמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירם בימה ואמרו Amen. The Amidah in the evenings is said as a personal prayer, so we're going to invite you to take a few moments beginning on page 47 through page 52, and traditionally we'll face east in that direction of the ark. Uyase shalom, ose shalom, shalom bimroma. Uyase shalom, uyase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom, shalom, bim
ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עושה שלום, שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום.
יקרא ויקרא שמי רבי, בעלמא דברה חירותי, והמליך מלכותי, בחייכון ומכון, וחיי לכל בישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך, לעולם לעולמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר וירומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה, בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותון וברכון, דכל ישראל, קדם אברהם דשמיא, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבא מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו amen. You can have a seat briefly. Before we're going to conclude in a moment with Kiddush and Aleinu, and we'll close with the Mourner's Kaddish as well. But before we do, I just want to thank you all for being here this evening, being part of this service. And we hope that you enjoy a beautiful evening at home, make Kiddush, and hopefully have dinner with Shabbat with people at home. And you know, if that's not what's happening for you on a regular basis, we actually want to help you with that too. We're forming Shabbat clubs, getting groups of people together to celebrate Shabbat. It's through these simple acts of gathering that we will come back together as a community and rebuild our world and rebuild our own neshamas by doing the simple things, celebrating Shabbat together, sanctifying moments in time. And so this weekend is a beautiful moment in time for our congregation and the weekends to come. And this process that will lead, I know, to great success for us as a congregation in the future. So I want to thank Rabbi Sarah Shulman, who's been with us tonight, and she will tomorrow be giving the sermon and participating in our Shabbat morning services, as well as a program in the evening for young families, and as well as tomorrow with our religious school. So keep an eye out for all of the activities through the weekend and in the coming weekends. We have surveys that we would love for you to fill out after Shabbat and send those back in, and you can also do that online. It's even easier. I think that's it. Laura, anything else you want me to tell people? Okay. Unfortunately, you know, in normal circumstances, it would be awesome for us to have a congregational dinner here at the synagogue tonight as part of this wonderful weekend. Unfortunately, we can't do that, and it is COVID. And so after the service, we're going to ask folks to, to leave the building. And please stay safe and stay masked while you're in the building, and drive home carefully too. So Rabbi Shulman, we're going to ask everyone to rise now. Kiddush is on page 55.
I just want to thank everyone for such a warm welcome, and I hope that all those joys that we mentioned when we were speaking to the people around us, may they be manifested in this cup of joy and throughout this Shabbat. Join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'rasta b'anu, v'shabbat kosher yavahu ratzon hilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'siyat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'harta, kivotanu kidashta, mikomim v'shabbat Shecha, the Ahava L'chaim. We're going to turn to page 56. We can continue to stand for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'atei kedula le'oser b'reshit shelo asanu k'yei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachat adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Kakatu v'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'elam v'chaya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 58. We invite mourners and those for whom it is your custom to remain standing. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala vizman kari ve'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'me'ol maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. And let's close with a little more singing. And what's
We
that?
close the end the way we started.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yanai, 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 yanai,
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. And before you go, just one more note really quick, because I would be totally remiss if I didn't thank our transition committee. And many members of our transition committee are here. And if you are on our transition committee, part of this process, raise your hand, because we should know who you are. Cece Lowinger and Beth Tote and Mitch O'Reiner over here, and of course Karen Blank and Fred Karp. So bend their ear, and also Joan. So thank you for all your efforts, because it has been a team effort this whole weekend. And feel free to bend their ear. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you for that. That was lovely. That was fun.
Thank you.
Oh, my mic is still on.
To jump in.
Well, the irony is
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.